Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to Wingate Solutions. I hope you're doing well. I got a new mic today, so hopefully it's going to pick up the audio okay. So I apologize if it doesn't. Hopefully it's okay for you guys. But today's video is going to be kind of a start of a series I'm going to do. I'm going to try to keep the videos shorter, but I'm going to do a series on suppressors. So my experience over the years, my suggestions for what I think you guys should look into, specifically because I know there's a lot of new suppressor shoppers on the market, guys that are just looking to get into cans with the faster wait times with the NFA process. And, it'd be great if we could just get rid of that process altogether and just get rid of the NFA. But until then, having more suppressors in the hands of like-minded Americans is a good thing, because then it will make them more common use, streamline it across the board, get them in the hands of more people, and hopefully at least get that off of the NFA at some point. And that'll be a good start, and I'm all about it. But anyway, so I want to do some videos on suppressors. Some of it will be good for newer people, and some of it might be something you might pick something up from it, even if you've been around cans for a while. And I want to let you guys know a few suggestions in no particular order. I'm going to just start talking about a few things in a few different videos. So hopefully you get something out of it and enjoy it. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Let's get into it. All right. So you may already have a particular suppressor or manufacturer you want to go with, and that's great. If you've done your research and you're going to be satisfied with that can, that's awesome. I hope you have a lot of luck with it. I know getting a can can be a pretty expensive thing to get into, and it can be a little bit intimidating for guys because of the NFA process of how much you're spending, plus the tax stamp, all the paperwork, everything. So guys don't want to buy a can and then be unhappy with that can. So a few things that I would recommend, specifically if you're unsure of the manufacturer you want, or if you're unsure of the mount style you want, is get a hub pattern can. That's HUB. Without getting too much into the history of it, I believe Silencer Co. started it with their Omega series. It originally was called maybe Bravo, I think. Check me if I'm wrong. Someone let me know down below. But the hub pattern has become the industry standard, which is awesome, because for a long time there was no standardization across the suppressor market. You were pretty much stuck with whatever mount design was on the can you wanted. And then you either were going to streamline all your guns to that setup, or you're going to end up having that thing just sit on like one rifle, and you're going to have 5 or 6 different style of cans. And that's kind of unfortunate. I know most of us would rather be able to swap a can between multiple rifles, unless we get into the direct thread way of thinking, which I think is cool too. And I'll get into that at some point as well. But for right now, we're going to talk about that hub pattern of suppressors out there. That would be the first thing I'd look for. I've had cans that have proprietary mounts that are non-removable, like the Dead Air cans, some of the Sandman series, and I'll get into that in a second, of some solutions for that for guys. If you have a can that's older and it's stuck with a mount on it, you can kind of get around that a little bit. I'll get into that in a second. But if I was going to be looking at new cans, I would get hub pattern, because then I can streamline my builds, even with different manufacturers, to the exact muzzle device that I like, and it future-proofs my decision. So even if, as long as hub pattern stays the standard, which I don't see why it wouldn't at this point, but it future-proofs my decision, because now, even if I'm not super into, or I am into the muzzle device I have on my gun now, 5, 6, 10 years down the road, there is a better design that's more rugged, or won't back off easy, has, just a better overall design for what I want. I can swap to it then if I'm hub pattern, and just change out the mount on the end of the can. And I don't know if you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. Maybe some of you guys probably do. Some of you guys might not if you're really new to this. A lot of cans will have a proprietary system back here. It's only going to screw on to one style of muzzle device or direct thread, which is going to be replacing your muzzle device in your gun. It's just going to screw it onto the barrel, okay? A hub pattern, if it's specifically the hub pattern, will allow you to remove this mount, change it out for another company's, allowing you to use different style of mounts across the lifespan of your can. It's awesome. It's the way to go. If I can go back in time, and if I would have known about this earlier, I would have done it from the beginning and just got hub as my main, style of mounting cans. It just makes it easier. That way I can just buy one style of muzzle device across all my rifles, swap my cans around as I feel, and that's great. So anyway, hub pattern is the way to go. Here it is on like a YHM Turbo K. Great little can. I'll get more specifically into suppressors over the next couple videos. I plan on pumping them out a little bit, so it's not going to be a lot of wait time between them. I just want to keep them shorter, so it's not like a 45-minute video on just cans. I'd rather keep the content kind of flowing in little bites for guys. But hub pattern on this YHM is really cool. This can comes with a different mount, and that's great. Might get you by for a while, just kind of getting into the suppressor game. And then as you decide you want to try a different style of mount, you can swap it out for something else like this Reardon Plan B Atlas mount. Get into that in the next video. I love them. That's a little bit of a teaser. But the ability to future-proof my decision is important to me at this point in the game. So anyway, guys, I'll move on real quick to a little bit of a shout out. All right, for you guys that maybe have an older can, like a Sandman S or any other can out there that's proprietary and you are not happy. I know a lot of guys have the older AAC cans, things like that. They would love to be able to streamline their suppressors to be a little more modern. One solution some of you guys might have heard about is ECCO Machine. These guys are awesome. So they are very well established in the suppressor community. They make cans as well as do conversions for guys, and they are pretty reputable at this point. I've heard really good things about them for years. I finally decided to jump off the deep end a little bit and modernize two of my dead air Sandmans. I have my S and I have my K. I do like these cans. I again will get more into these in the future, but I don't like the idea anymore of having a can that's stuck with one style of muzzle device. These had the chemo mounts, the dead air mounts. They're big and heavy. They work. If they really work for you and you don't have a problem with them, do not change them out and go through this process if they work fine for you, especially if you got one or two rifles or you're using them on. I just, after a while, wanted to standardize to a more modern mount, and I had to use Dead Air's warranty a time or two to replace the ratchet mechanisms on mine because they wear out over time and bothers you. I like to hear the nice clicks with the D10, and they wear out and it's kind of annoying. So if you're not having that issue, I wouldn't change it. But if you are, or you have a can that you want to modernize, going with ECCO Machine is awesome. They will cut the back end of the can off, weld on a new piece, and then they will thread it to be hub pattern. They also offer a few other threading services if you want to go with a different pattern, but that hub pattern is my recommendation. And then that allows me to put on those Reardon Atlas mounts on the back of these. Really clean finish on these. You can pick whatever color you want them to finish it in as well, but even just the actual weld job, it looks just like it would be stock. And now I can turn these cans into direct thread if I want. I can put any mount on these that I choose that are hub compatible. And as long as people keep supporting that system, I'll be able to run these cans until they die, and they probably won't because these are pretty rugged cans. If anything, the mount that came on these is the fail point. So unless I have some catastrophic baffle strike, that's my only worry on these. Now, going with this mount conversion, there is maybe a little bit of a decision to be made as far as whether or not it's going to void the manufacturer's warranty, your original, and it probably will. So just kind of understand that. That's where if you have an old can or can you really you don't use much, or you want to just modernize just for the heck of it, it might be worth doing. Now, ECCO Machine will warranty their work, so there is that. Can do your research a little bit. If you have any questions on that, maybe reach out to those guys and ask. But I highly recommend, just wanted to do a little bit of a shout out to those guys because I'm very pleased with their work over at ECCO Machine. But anyway, that's going to be just a quick one on mounts, specifically that hub pattern. Look into those cans first. Unless you already have a pre-established can you want, like the Hux Works flow-through cans, those are going to be, not compatible with anything else in the market. You're going to be stuck with a proprietary mount on those, and it might be worth it to you because those are really cool, really well thought out design, and they're really, doing well in the market. A lot of guys are really happy with those cans. So do your research there. For me, it's either going to be a can I absolutely need and want, then I'll be okay with that, proprietary system. Or if I'm a little bit unsure, or even me at this point, I'm going hub compatible on everything. Anyway, I know that was a little ranty. I will hopefully be a little more concise for the next one, so stick around. I will put in the next video out. That'll be specifically on the muzzle devices that I like to run. I teased it a little bit, but I want to get into that a little more. I'll do some deep dives on performance of these things over the next few videos as well, and then get into some actual build considerations when running cans, specifically on like AR type rifles, things like that, because that's kind of my bread and butter. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate you watching. Hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment down below. I really enjoy reading it. Go ahead and check out the website, link down in the description. We have handmade rifle slings and some other cool things that we make in-house. My wife and I have a very small business, and I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, get out and train.